Hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to yet another lecture in the Palo Alto training series. Now we have seen the vWire interface, tap interface, and the layer 2 deployment. Now in this lecture we will be talking about the sub interface mode. Now the sub interface mode is something like the router and stick configuration, wherein what we do is we have this. Wait a second. Let me grab my pen. So where we have this single interface on the Palo Alto device, and that is going to connect to a switch here, right? This switch, and from that switch you will have multiple LAN users, and then this LAN users can be on different VLANs, right? So this can be on different VLANs. All right. So what will happen is, at the end of the day, this is what you will be seeing in the corporate network, right? Because you don't have the luxury to connect each zone to one interface or each subnet to one interface. So you will be connecting, obviously, depending on the model of the Palo Alto firewall, you will have a limited number of interface to be used, right? And for the users or the inside zone or whatever you are using, you will obviously end up having a lot of VLANs. So in this case, let's have a scenario where we have three users, and they are all sitting on three different VLANs, and then we'll configure a single interface here, which will be a trunk, and then we'll tag the VLANs, we'll create SVIs as in sub interface, and then we will see how that kind of setup will be working here on the Palo Alto side. Now for this lab, what I will do is I'll just duplicate this lab and create a new lab uh, for the sub interface type. Okay, so what I will do is I will basically stop all of this, and then I will close this lab. All right, so we are doing this one. Okay, this one, and I will go and clone this lab, and let's say this one is my Palo Alto sub interface. Okay, this is my sub interface type. So this is the new lab. So I'll go here, I'll open this, and now what we will do is I will delete this user from here. I don't need this one as well. All right, I will delete this text file as well. All right, I will delete this, and also I don't want this. I will delete this as well. Now this will be our outside interface. This is my management. I can delete this as well, but let's keep it as is. So I'll delete this as well, or yes, we can just go and delete this all. So now here what I need is, this is my uh, sales zone, and this is going to be on a subnet that is going to be a private one, 10.1. So we'll name it with the VLAN. Okay, this is going to be my VLAN 10, and this is going to be VLAN 20. So I'll keep the third octet as the VLAN number. So here, and I will also maximize this a little bit like this. It's not a span mode, so I'll delete this. Okay, so this is my, this time this is my, let's say, sales. I will have mark zone, and this is going to be my 20 VLAN. Then I will have a router here. This is Square's router, and this is going to be my or instead I can have a VPC. Better to have a VPC, this virtual PC, and I will connect it here to the switch. and this is going to be my IT zone. IT zone, which is going to be in VLAN 30. Okay, so that is one thing that I need to do. Good. Now just start this Palo Alto, and I'll start the switch. I'll start these devices. I can just say more actions and start all nodes. Then I will log the lab, and I will wait for this device to come up, and I can see that this switch is running up. My nodes. All right, and let me check my, yeah, this is also booting up. Let it be like this is my internet. So I need to create a couple of zones here. So I'll be creating the sales zone, marketing zone, IT zone, and I'll create the outside zone. So these four zones on the Palo Alto, and then on the switch I need to create these three VLANs and assign these switch ports to that particular VLAN. All right, so almost the switch is here. Yeah, switch is up. So till the time I configure the switch, hopefully the uh, Palo Alto will be initialized. So I'll just maximize the font so that you guys can see this properly. All right, so I have this switch here. So I'll say configure terminal. First of all, enable in config t. Now I need to create three VLANs, right? So I'll just create VLAN 10, and this is going to be having name of sales, right? And then exit, and then I have VLAN 20, name is going to be marketing, or just say mark, exit, and then I have VLAN 30, and the name is IT. All right, and then exit. Now if I see do show VLAN brief, I should see all these three VLANs, but the interfaces are not part of it, right? So I'll go to interface of gigabit 0/2. This is going to be part of VLAN 10. So I'll say switch port host, and then switch port access VLAN. My VLAN is 10. Okay, exit, and then I'll go to interface gigabit 0/3 switch port, and then switch port access VLAN 20, and then third one is interface then interface gigabit 0/0, and uh, switch port host switch port access VLAN 30 this time. Exit, end, and right. So I'll save this configuration on the switch, and when I see this time show VLAN brief, I should see all these configurations. All right, also just to test, what we can do is config t. I'll go to each VLAN. I'll say interface VLAN 10, and I'll say no shut, and say IP address. I'll configure an IP address for the VLAN, and let's say this is 10. Okay, and then 255.255.255.0. This is my IP address of the SVI on the switch, just for testing, right? So like that, I'll go to interface VLAN 20, and I'll say IP address 10.1.20.10. all right, and then the /24 subnet mask. Okay, exit. Then I have interface VLAN 30, no shut, and then I can say IP address 10.1.30.10 with the subnet marks of /24. Now I say end, right, and if I do a show IP interface brief here, I should see all these interfaces with the IP, and I see VLAN 20 is still down, so I go interface VLAN 20, no shut and write, and then I do a show IP interface brief here, and I should see all the interfaces up. Now let's go to each end host, configure the IP addresses here. So I'll go to this one and say control panel network. This is my VLAN 10, so I should have an IP address of 10.1.10. Say 1, and then yeah, then I need the gateway. This is going to be 100. Sorry, broadcast is fine. The gateway is 100, which is going to be my XVI on the router, the Palo Alto Firewall. I can also define the DNS servers and then say apply and then exit. Now if I go and go to the terminal here, and if I say if config, I have an IP address of 10.1.10.1. Now from here, if I try to ping the SPI on the switch, okay, that should work. This is why I needed the IP on the switch. Great, this is working. The 3 ports as access port. We will have to configure this gig 0/1 as a trunk port. So let's go to the switch. Enable config T interface gigabit 0/1 switch port trunk encapsulation.1q and switch port mode trunk. And also you can do switch port trunk allowed VLAN all. Let's say all, I mean just to be on the safer side, and that's it. So the configuration on the switch is done. That's all we need to do on the switch. Let's move on to the firewall. Now this firewall, what I have done is I have configured the IP address to 192.168.1.201 with the default gateway of 192.168.1.1 and the DNS also I've configured. Okay, so let's access the firewall on the same IP, management IP, and I will log in with the credentials here. So admin and credential. All right, so first thing we need to do is we need to create 3 zones, or basically 4 zones. Okay, so the first one is, let's say all will be type L3. So first is the sales, let's say zone. Okay, this is going to be type L3 and save. Then you have IT zone. Okay, this is again L3, save. Add one more, which is going to be mark, let's say all caps, mark zone. This is also going to be type L3, and last but not least, we're going to make the outside zone, okay, and this is going to be type L3, save. Now we will have to configure the interface. On this one we have ETH1/5 as the outside interface, so I'll just configure a DHCP here. So I'll make this as layer 3. I have to mention that this is the WAN kind of WAN interface. Okay, and then I have to define the virtual router. I'll say default. I have the security zone, which is my outside zone, and IP address I will just say DHCP client. Okay, and just save it. Advanced, nothing there. Nothing there, and just mention okay. Okay, so for this one I have enabled the eth1/5. Let's just commit and see if this is receiving an IP address from the DHCP server, which is my router on the network, the physical wireless router. Okay, so let's wait for this and see the job. So if I go to my CLI, here I can see run jobs all, and just wait for this pending to be completed. So it's on 0% right now, so we'll wait for this to complete and then I'll come back. All right, the commit is successful. So what I can do here is I can run show routing route. If the DHCP has taken IP address, then I should see a default route here, and yes, I have a default route and I can see this as the interface. Okay, great. So I can go and check here also. If I go to the virtual routers and then I can go more runtime stats, I will be able to see the routing table, right? So this is eth1/5. I have IP address of 1.65. Great. That means my router will be able to reach internet via, if I do a ping source, ping, I have to exit and then ping and then source, define my source, which is my 192.168.1.65 to the host, which is 8.8.8.8. This should be successful. Yeah, so this traffic is going through my outside interface, and when I do just ping host 8.8.8.8, that traffic is going through my management interface. I hope you know this. So both are working for me. Now after this I have to configure the interface. So I have the zones. Now I'll go to the interface. Now this is 1/1. So for configuring the sub interface, the physical interface has to be up. So I'll just make it a layer 3 and nothing needs to be enabled here. Just bring the interface up and hit OK. That is it. And then after that, what we will do, I'll click on this one and I'll say add sub interfaces. Now we will tag it. Okay, so this is .10 and this is my VLAN 10 eth1/1. Comment is, so my VLAN 10 is the sales. Okay, so I'll say sales zone. All right, and then I will configure the default router and then also the sales zone to this. I can define an IP address here. Obviously I need an IP address. 10.1.10.100 is going to be my IP address, the one that we defined as the default gateway. And then I can also apply a management profile for this. So let's say I will say a ping and I'll say mgmt prof. Just for testing I'll make this, and then that's all, right? So I'll say okay, this is one sub interface and I will also do the same for the other sub interfaces. So I'll bring up another one which is going to be 20, and 20 is going to be mark. So I'll go here and say mark zone, right? Marketing zone, that this is going to be tagged as 20. This is going to be on the default, and then this is my mark zone, and then IPv4 is going to be 10.1.20.100/24, right? So this is my mark, and then advanced I will go and select the management profile. Okay, and also I will have a third interface which is going to be the 30 VLAN.30, and this is going to be my IT zone, right? And this is going to be my 30 VLAN tag, and then default router, and this is my IT zone here, and then IP address 10.1.30.100/24. So this is what I wanted, and on here I will just configure as management profile. All right, once the physical interface is up, all these sub interfaces will be automatically up. Now I'll just commit these changes, commit, and we'll wait for this commit to be successful, and then we'll move on to the next step, which is um the configuration of the rule. Okay, show jobs all here. Still it is in the pending state, so I can go also here on the Palo. Here it is running, so we'll wait for this. Once it is complete, then we will move on to the next step, that is configuring the uh, policy. Okay, we also need a NAT policy, okay, on the router, so that our this end devices can reach the internet. All right, so this is done. You can see all the interfaces are up. Now if I go to my end devices, I should be able to ping the gateway. So this is my 10 10 10 100. You should be able to reach the interface. Yes, likewise I have my 20, right? This is my 20, so 20.100, it should be reachable. And then I have the VPC, which is on 30.100, and this is already. So all my sub interfaces are up. Now let's configure a policy saying that this is my what do you say, inside or not inside, I would say intranet policy. That's the internet policy, something like this. So this is my going to be an interzone, not intrazone, interzone, because this is from one zone to another zone. Now I'll just create a single zone, single policy for all the zones, but ideally it should be separate ones, so that you can uh, have granular policies to disable or allow or block certain traffic in that VLAN or in that zone, right? So just for testing, I'm just adding all the zones here: IT, mark, and sales. Also you could have mentioned the IP addresses here: 10.1.10.0/24, right? And then you could mention 10.1.20/0/24, like that. So you could mention the subnets here as the source: 10.1.20. Sorry, 30 in this case, 30.0/24. So you're mentioning the. Now also you can create objects, you know that, and then destination is going to be the outside zone. Destination address, obviously we don't know anything, it's all of internet. Application, you can allow HTTP, HTTPS, DNS, all those stuff, right? So that is something that you could do, but as of now I would say any. And application default, action allow, could apply profiles, but as of now this is all I need. Once this is done, I will commit this changes. All right, and let's go ahead and let's just capture this ETH1/1 here, just to see the traffic here. All right, okay, we'll keep this here, and we'll see this Palo Alto commit. Once it is successful or completed, you can say, then we can test the traffic from our end devices. Is it able to reach the internet using the sub interfaces? So we'll wait for this. All right, almost there, 98% and 99, almost done. So I'll just go to my one of the devices. I'll just stop the ping. Okay, both sides the pings are stopped, and here if you see, the commit is also successful. I should be now able to access the internet. If I go and say google.com, this should be accessible now. All right, so one more thing that I'm missing is the NAT. So yes, so I have to go and configure the NAT. Even if you go here on the monitor, you should be able to see the traffic. Yes, okay, policy is allowing it, but the NAT is not happening. So you could see also here, if you go, that the source address is this, sorry, source country is this, source address is this, destination is this. Obviously this will not be allowed, so there is no NAT that is happening. So that is why this is a private address which is not allowed on the internet, and that is why the traffic is getting uh, dropped. I mean, somewhere in the internet it might be getting blocked wherever there is a access control list that says block, or the all the private address ranges. So but our firewall is not blocking it. So in that case we will have to go to policies and create an NAT policy, say add, and we will say NAT policy. Okay, so this is going to be type IPv4 original packet. Source zone is going to be IT mark, and then I have the sales, right? Destination zone is going to be my outside zone. Source address, I can keep all of this. Source, I mean, all that you can keep it, or you can keep any as of now. Translated is our dynamic IP and port. Translate address is the interface. Interface is 1/5. IP automatically should detect. Right, because I have a what do you say, because I have a DHCP, so that is why it is not showing the option to me. Translate the IP. Let's say I can say 192.168.1 dot something on that 9, which should not be there obviously. Let's see, a pool basically here, you know, to do a static IP 1 to 1, right? So then my IP port or not address, I can give a pool here 192.168.1.205 to 192.168.1.230, and I can commit this now. Okay, so the NAT policy is successful. So I'll go here and try this again, and this time this should work great. So, and also on the other one, which is this one, this should also work. Okay, yeah, so that is also working. So I can also go to my monitor, and I should be able to see these things. So if I go to Facebook here, open this traffic, and I should see the source and the destination, and then I should see something about the NAT. Yeah, netted IP is 218, so that is why this is working fine. And I also can see the policy rule that is being hit. All right, so I'll close this. Once this is done, I can also go to my eve ng and look at my Wireshark, so I can see HTTPS, or protocol will be all TCP, right? So I can see something from this one. This is the 20.1, which is my sales zone, and this is the layer 1, this is my layer 2, right? So I can see the 82.1q tagging here, right? This is the id 20, all this I can see from IP 20. This is my source IP, this is the destination IP. I can see the VLAN tag. Great, right? So this is great. This is what you can see. So this is a TCP connection. Destination port is 80, which is HTTP. Source will be random. So all these things you can find in the capture here. So great. I mean, this is the return traffic that I'm able to see from the internet, the replies, request, and the response, all those. Yeah. So I'll stop and quit without saving. So I mean, that's all. That's how you configure the sub interfaces on a Palo Alto box. And I hope you learned something useful in this lecture today. And for now, that would be all, and I will see you in the next lecture. Until then, stay safe. Bye bye.